So please welcome this week's special guest, Richard. So, John, what is Richard to you?
This is Richard. He's the stunt horse rider who galloped me through a moonlit forest so I wouldn't miss the Man United Bolton game.
Gabby, how do you know Richard?
This is Richard. He is the flight attendant who persuaded me I wasn't dying, but I had trapped wind.
And finally, David, what's your relationship with Richard?
This is Richard. He came to my aid at the local tip when I lost my specs in his great big skip.
Lovely. So, there we have it. Lee.
Right. Would you like me to describe him, by the way? Would that help you suss out which of the three he might know?
Yeah, a little bit of audio description.
OK, well, he looks quite a cool dude, actually, so we can rule out that he knows David. Actually, I think you might know him because he's dressed as a policeman and he's not talking.
So who are you going to quiz first?
Right, John. He's the stuntman that covered you.
No, we were using horses in this production I was filming, and we were in Scotland, and that's when he offered to help me.
But what was it you said? You said he galloped you to a television. So what, you got on the back, spooned behind him?
Well... I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say I was spooning him. No, I was just riding on the back of his horse.
And you were clothed?
Fully clothed. Yeah.
And the horse would have been quicker than a car in this instance?
In this instance, yes. We talked about it early in the day, and he said, I know exactly where you can watch it. There's a pub over there, and I can definitely get you there for kick-off. And
he literally pulled up outside the pub, you jumped off and ran into the pub like a desperate cowboy?
Well, no, he came in with me.
Oh, he came in with you?
And where
with the horse?
did you put the... Yeah.
Tied it up outside.
You tied it up outside on the thing? Was this in, like, mid-America in the 1870s? What do you mean you tied... What thing did you tie it to?
Well, I didn't see. I just got off the horse, and then he came in.
You got where you were going and you went into a bar and you didn't take the horse purely for the joke that would have followed.
Am I the only one who doesn't know what the joke would be?
The reason why you
Why the long face?
Yeah, but the reason why you've never heard that joke, Rob, is because it's a bit sensitive with you, isn't it?
You sound like you've got quite a little round face.
Isn't that lovely? Yeah. Thank you very much, Chris. I sound like...
It wasn't meant to be a compliment, but...
What kind of faces do the rest of us sound
yeah,
like
that's
we
quite
have?
interesting, yeah.
Take some time with Lee in particular.
Lee just... He sounds like he looks like a cheeky little monkey who's the only one that knows he's about to fling a poo.
Wow. That kind of... Please, can I use that on my posters for the next tour? What about David?
Oh, David! From voice alone. He sounds like he looks like a Toby jug of a duck.
That is bang on.
That is the image I go for.
I think this deaf neighbour of yours was right the first time. Right. Lee, who would you like to quiz next?
OK, Gabby.
Just remind us, Gabby, for the benefit
this is
of the
Richard,
slower
and he
members.
is the airline steward who persuaded me I wasn't dying. I had trapped wind.
OK, so what were your symptoms?
I felt like really breathless, and I just couldn't... I felt like I couldn't get a breath at first.
You hadn't opened the window again, had you?
And, my husband looked across the aisle and said, "You look a bit pale."
Well, you say your husband looked across, you mean he came from economy up to first class.
He said, "You look a bit pale," and I said, I can't get any breath, and I felt really, really uncomfortable.
Where were you going to?
We were going home.
From?
Well, that helps us. We were going home.
We were going from Gibraltar.
Quite close to home at this point?
No, quite early on in the flight, about
OK.
10, 15 minutes into the flight, I started to feel a bit dodgy. Anyway, then, lo and behold, Richard came down and he said, "You all right?" I said, "I'm really not feeling great, actually." He said, "Come up here." And brought me up into the galley.
Yeah.
And then, well, I heard him talking to the captain, and then I heard the word doctor being mentioned, and I heard the words.
Oh my God! What do you mean you heard the word doctor?
Well-
Because that could be quite scary if he said, "Listen, pilot, we need a." I'm not a pilot, actually. I'm a doctor. That would have released the wind.
I thought I was dying. I thought I'd ruptured my appendix or something like that.
And what kind of things did he say to calm you down?
I think he said, well, if we do go down in the sea, don't worry, you're full of wind, you'll float for longer. And then
Well, at some point,
Chilled her out.
at some point, he kind of knelt down in his very caring way and said, there is a possibility this could be trapped wind, which filled me with horror. Because it was just going to all come out at some point, and that's embarrassing.
Yeah, but better than dying.
So then he just went one step further, and he said to me, if we lower the plane, there's a good chance...
Well, so your internal pressure would be less?
So he said, there's a good chance it could come out, but I've got to warn you...
Whoa. Would that work? Does the science add up there that you're more likely to release wind?
At this
Otherwise,
point...
by that logic, everyone would be farting on takeoff.
You're not saying that it was beginning its descent?
Well, I don't know how far out it would begin its descent, but...
Well, not 15 minutes after takeoff.
No, it wasn't 15 minutes. By this point, we're like over halfway into the journey.
So he said to the cockpit, bring it down, and did they do that?
Apparently, they did.
quick, bring the plane down, I think she might blow.
Yeah.
So what happens? They bring it down, and
Yeah.
what was the effect on you?
Well, within a few seconds, minutes maybe,
Yes.
a tiny little burp came out of my mouth.
Of your mouth?
Have your mouth.
And I thought, that's it. I'm good. And I walked back to my seat.
Did everybody cheer and clap?
The truth is, when I say that...
The truth is, it didn't happen, Gavin. That's the truth.
The truth is, when
None
I
of
say
this has ever happened.
it
I don't think you've
sounds-
even ever been to Gibraltar. The only bit of this that I believe is that you fart a lot.
What about David? Remind us of your claim.
This is Richard. He came to my aid at the local tip when I lost my specs in his great big skip.
What were you doing at the tip? What were you getting rid of?
I was getting...
Not another body, David.
Not another body, no. I bury them. Cover them in acid. But no, this was 2 CD players and a DVD player.
What did you do with them at the tip?
I put them in the small electrical goods skip thing.
And so what did you do? Did you lean right over to put them further in the middle?
I leant right over.
Did you place them? Was it a shallow skip? Or
No, it was deep. You had to go up a staircase, like a wheelie set of stairs.
Yes. Now, most people throw things in skips by just lobbing them. They don't lean over. And I'm
Or
trying to
go
work out...
upstairs and then lean over, no?
Yeah, the up the stairs thing, I'm not quite... I mean, how tall was this skip?
Why didn't you just throw them in?
It was about 1 foot high, but I thought it would be fun to climb a staircase.
Take us now to the crux. The losing of the glasses.
So losing of the glasses. OK, so I'm throw the things in, the skip, and they make a crashing sound, and I lean in to peer to see what I, in my mightiness, have wrought. My glasses were a bit loose, and...
You had quite a sweaty head from all of the effort of lugging the 2 CD players
Absolutely.
and the DVD
The effort
player.
going up all the stairs thinking, this isn't very practical. What if I was throwing away a dishwasher? And they slid down my sweaty Toby jug duck beak.
Fell into the skip.
And fell into the skip.
Did you shout for help?
I went, excuse me!
And then what? Richard appeared.
He appears. He goes into the skip.
Yeah?
I mean, I'd explained in words what had happened. I said,
What
my
did you
glasses
say?
just fell off. They should be directly below here.
And did he not say, well, in you go, then?
Yeah, why did he think
he
it
didn't
was his
say in you
job
go
to do
then.
that?
He said, it's all right, I'll go in and get them.
And did you ask why?
Why he'd go in and get them?
Yeah.
Why, did I want to talk him out of it?
So he'd come over and you'd said, could you go and get my glasses?
I quacked, he gave me some bread. I said, actually, that's not good for me, I need seed.
Never, ever say that to a stranger at the tip.
So, did you get the glasses?
Yes.
Good. Right, we need an answer. So, Lee's team. Is Richard John's horseback hero, Gabby's steward saviour, or David's rubbish rescuer?
Oh, tricky.
It's really tricky.
Chris.
I can't go with Gabby myself.
I don't know. Like, trapped wind is very painful.
What about David?
If anybody's going to the tip to do the physical work, it's Mrs. Mitchell, isn't it?
So who are you thinking, John?
Well, we were chatting earlier in the green room, and he told me he was a Man United fan.
Okay.
OK, so, what are you going to say, Lee?
We'll go John.
You're going John. OK. Richard, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Richard, and I am the flight attendant that helped Gabby.
Richard, you're on national television. Did you ask the pilot to lower the plane?
We were descending anyway.
Yes, Richard is Gabby's steward saviour. Thank you very much, Richard.
OK. For 10 years, I refused to go into any branch of McDonald's after a girl dumped me in one.
What, you mean this girl took you there and left you there?
So you... OK, so you phoned ahead, made the reservation. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Manford. We're very busy tonight.
How old were you?
I was 16, she was 15.
Oh, hello. So, actually illegal.
You were on a date with her, or...?
Yeah, well, I think we've been to the cinema, and then afterwards we've gone to the McDonald's.
So when you were at the cinema, had you perhaps committed something of an indiscretion at the cinema, which prompted her then to end the relationship at the fast food restaurant?
I'd chosen Jumanji.
Can I ask, did she eat her meal before she finished with you?
I ate them both, I think, crying.
Oh, this is...
Finally, can I ask you, Jason, what prompted you to make a return to McDonald's in the end?
I think I was, needed a wee, like everyone else.
But it was 10 years, a whole 10 years
so
that you didn't enter that restaurant.
2-3 years ago.
Wow.
I finally went back in. I looked that clown in the eye and I walked right into there.
She was still there?
She was still there.
I don't know, what do we think, Joe?
I think he's telling the truth. I think he's dumping material he wouldn't dare do on stage.
You say true? True. I'll go for true. You want to go for true?
True.
They're saying true. Jason Manford, are you telling the truth?
It is the truth.
What a roller coaster of a life you've led.
Yes, it's true. Jason, you've never been able to get over that girl dumping you all those years ago, but I can tell you now that she's here tonight. She's not. No, it was a physical joke.
Tom Cruise owes me 600 quid.
Lee's team.
Tom Cruise owes you 600 quid?
Yes.
Right. What did you used to do for a living? Well, first of all, how do you know Tom Cruise? Or how did you know Tom Cruise?
Or how does you know Tom Cruise?
Well, it was many moons ago.
Right.
And he heard about me as a dancer.
Right.
And he wanted to learn to dance.
Ah, so you taught him how to dance?
Yes.
For a film or just for fun?
For fun. At the time, he was married to the tall lady.
Well, they're all
Nicole.
tall. He's a tiny fella.
He's of perfectly average height.
Well, actually, he was rather small. I remember that.
Yes. Oi, I get enough of this from him.
He was smaller than you.
Was he? Do you know what, Rob? That's such great news, you should have stood up then and celebrated. So why does he owe you 600 quid? Is that how much you charge and he didn't pay you?
He didn't pay me, yeah.
But how much... What, I mean, I'm trying to word this correctly. How long would I get with you for £600?
Well, it should have been 2 hours, but...
You're 300 quid an hour? Wow. It's more than you're getting tonight.
It should have been 2 hours, but it ran over because, you know, he started to move those hips and I got really quite into it, you know.
Was there any sexual chemistry there?
Oh, there's always sexual chemistry when you dance, darling, with anybody and everybody.
Oh, come on, we saw Aunt Widdicombe on Strictly.
All right, what are we thinking? Josie, what do you think?
Because you still sound a tiny little bit angry, I think it's true.
All right, Stephen, what about you?
100% true.
Do you think so? Are you good in your job sussing out liars?
A little bit. I actually did body language training at one point, so...
Did you?
No, that was a lie. See?
I was really annoyed there, because I have done body language training. Really? No, I haven't, really. I do feel a bit better now. OK, my team say true. I'll go with that.
You're going to say true?
I'm not convinced.
All right, OK. So, Shirley, was it true or was it a lie?
It was true.
It's true. And we got a photograph of the two of you together. Let's look at that. Oh. Sarah, you're next.
I once spent over an hour trapped in a bin.
David's team.
Why did you get in the bin?
Because I put something in and I needed to get it back.
You'd mistakenly thrown something away?
Yes.
So where was this bin?
It was outside my house. You know, like a big recycling bin.
Oh, was it a bottle bank, Sarah? Did you climb back in? There was some in that. There was some in
There's
there.
a little bit left in there.
So what had you thrown out by
Some
accident?
important paperwork. There'd been a pile of recycling and the important, like, tax stuff had got mixed in with it.
Right.
And so I said to my friend, where's the tax stuff?
Why would your friend know?
Because he was helping me.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
You've been out to
Yeah.
put the recycling in the bin.
Yeah.
You come back in.
Gone back.
Oh, my God, the vital documents aren't there.
Quick, get back to the bin.
Back out to the bin.
It's got a
Right.
slot. Surely I can get in there, can't I?
Yeah.
So you go in, and
Go in.
what happens?
Well, I tried to get back out, and my head and my top half got through, but then your hips are the widest part of your body, and I couldn't get those through. So I thought, what if I take off my dungarees and I just had, like, pants and a sports bra on?
One sad, lonely man in the audience there. Oh, yes! Great! Finally! What a light you get sexy!
Oh, you'll love what's coming up next, sir. So... my friend went back and got some body lotion, and so I could lube myself up. So I was more slippy to get... and then he pulled me out, and I took some skin off my hips, but I got out.
Oh, no. All right. What are you thinking?
There is something about it that does seem true. It does also seem like something that might happen in a, I don't know, a sort of slapstick sitcom.
You don't...
I think it's a lie.
I think it's a lie.
I think we think it's a lie.
You're going to say it's a lie?
Yeah.
OK. Sarah, truth or lie?
It's true.
Because it irritates me so much, I'm always correcting people when they wrongly call fog mist and mist fog.
David.
All right. What is the distinction, Lee, between mist and fog?
Well, that is a very good question, David.
Yeah.
Any others? Mist is... I used to live by the coast. We used to have a lot of sea fret. You know sea fret?
Nope. What's sea fret?
Sea fret is like it's a sort of mist
Right.
It's produced by the sea.
Fog-like, you might say.
That really irritates me, that, David. There is a thing called sea fret, and it's when the mist comes off the sea. It's the water that comes off the sea, and we used to have a lot of that. And I remember my mum said, oh, it's foggy again. And I killed her. I would say that was when it started. I call that day one.
So, here's a question maybe familiar to you,
Yes.
Lee. What is the difference between mist and fog?
I'll tell you exactly the difference. Mist comes from a very rainy day, which then becomes...
misty.
Misty. Whereas fog is when it's foggy. Fog comes from a drop in temperature. It's very cold suddenly. There has to be a sudden temperature change for fog. Mist is the opposite and is often created by heat, which causes water to evaporate and thus causing mist. And be honest, you weren't expecting that, Luke.
So fog is as a result of a sudden drop in temperature, mist is a result of evaporation caused by heat.
Yeah.
And can you tell to look at it? Or do you have to have known the meteorological backstory?
You can tell by looking at it. Mist is... how can I describe it in layman's terms?
Is mist thinner
Yeah,
than fog?
fog is denser. Mist is a little bit... It's a bit easier to see
But
something
how could you
mist.
tell the difference between a light fog and a heavy mist?
You can tell the difference in the same way as you can tell the difference between a light, fat person and a heavy, thin person.
When was the last time you corrected someone on
The
that?
last foggy day we had.
Who was it that you corrected?
Corrected a sailor, actually.
How did you find yourself to be
I was
with
on a
sailor?
fishing trip.
On a fishing trip?
On a fishing trip, just
Where?
off the west coast of Scotland.
What were you doing up there?
Lost. It was from Brighton we left.
What do you feel about the Paul Gascoigne song Fog on the Tyne?
I feel worse when he took that penalty and he missed.
Why do you find people making this mistake between two phenomena that do look pretty similar? Why do you find
similar?
Yes, of course they look similar.
No, they don't.
Well, they look similar. It's like the air is difficult to look through. What is it about the distinction between mist and fog that makes it a particular bugbear of yours?
I think it's because of when I lost my Uncle Pete at sea.
So what are you going to say, then? Is it the truth?
Lie.
Lie.
Lie. We think it's
so
a
it's
lie.
a lie. OK, Lee, truth or lie?
It's a lie. I once had to show my boss an intimate area of my body to prove why I was late for work.
OK. Which part of your body, and why did that prove that you were late for work?
It was my... well, I think we all know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
No. Well, let's call him Mr. Wee Wee.
You actually had to show it to him?
I didn't. Well, I didn't have to. He didn't say.
You elected.
Oh, so
He didn't say prove it, get it out. But I could tell he was doubting me.
You
I
offered
said
it.
honestly, look, and I got it out.
So what was it? What?
That's the bit they're all waiting for.
Yeah. What did it prove?
Mr. Wee Wee had banged his head.
What on?
What on is a good question.
Yeah.
The ceiling. We don't. Yeah, basically, I was lying in bed, and I was naked, and I think there was a tiny little bit of glass in the bed, and it just wouldn't stop bleeding. So I had to get some tissue paper. I wrapped it round quite a lot, and I can't lie, it ended up looking like Mr. Bump.
It was blue.
It was. I just put lots of it on, and then I just told him the truth. I said, sorry I'm late, there was an incident. Told him the incident. He went, like that, as if to say, you're not telling the truth. I said, do you want to see it? Whizzed it out. He went, oh, it's Mr. Bump.
So every time someone raises their eyebrows at you, your instinct is to get your penis.
Stop it, Greg, stop it! You know I can't help myself. Stop it!
He made you show it.
No, he didn't make me. He at never point made me do it.
Right.
All he did was give you the sign.
The thing is... Stop it, Greg!
You were in no position position to deploy it.
I was quite well covered. It was full of bandaged tissue paper, so it was easy to get it out and keep my dignity. In fact, I was quite proud of it. It was like this. I said, "You want to have a look at it, mate?" There it is. Clap your eyes around that little beauty. Mr. Bum's fainted. Get used to it.
David, what do you think? Is he telling the truth? Let's have a decision.
Connie?
Well, I could weirdly believe it.
Yes, I could believe it. I mean, it's a very extreme story to have made up.
It's too much, so it must be true.
Yeah.
You're saying true?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're saying true.
You're saying true. OK, Lee, truth or lie?
It is, in fact, true.
Yes, it's true. Lee went on to a successful career in entertainment, while his boss went on to antidepressants and a course of trauma therapy. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest. It's up to Lee's team to spot who is telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Lumbu. So, Guz, what is Lumbu to you?
This is Lumbu, and when I work away from home, he sleeps in the same room as me to protect me from ghosts.
Claudia, how do you know Lumbu?
This is Lumbu, and despite his car being the only one in an otherwise empty car park, I still managed to hit it.
And finally, David, what is your relationship with Lumbu?
This is Lumbu, and while strolling through ancient Rome in his virtual reality headset, I tripped over a footstool and fell into a fireplace.
Lee's team, where will you begin?
Should we start with Guz? So, you take him round with you because you're scared of ghosts in bedrooms. It's not at home, right?
No, it doesn't affect me at home.
It's only when you go away.
Just a room that I don't know that I ain't slept in.
Is it because he has special exorcist powers, or can it be anybody?
No, particularly the force is strong with...
This one?
expelling demons and scary things like this.
Why is he giggling?
Because he's taking so much money off Guz.
Is it a professional relationship? He works for you?
No, not at all. He's an old school friend
Yes.
from childhood, because it's quite a difficult sell, that, isn't it? Even to pay somebody money to come along with you, to sleep in the same room as you, usually a single bed at the Premier Inn, and...
I believe there are people who will do that for money.
Did you share the bed, or is he in a different bed? You said it was a single bed.
Yeah, I mean, it depends, doesn't it? Like, you know, quite early in my career, things are a bit tight, when they're like, you know, we'll sort you out a hotel room. It's going to be the one bed, so you have to do what you have to do.
Well, you might have to do what you have to do. Maybe he doesn't want to do what he has to do.
What does Lumbu do for a living, then?
Oh, no, he's got a flexible job and that.
Yeah, no, I didn't say what hours does he do. I said, what does he do?
He works at Leicestershire County Council in an advisory role.
I've never heard a sentence so clearly not sure where it's going when it started. I mean, bloody hell, you really stretched out. He works in...
You're not scared of ghosts at home? You're only scared of ghosts away from home?
That's correct. It's a childhood phobia, yeah, ghosts, and I was dealing with it quite well until... What's that show that Holly Willoughby does and the kids with the grey hair?
Oh,
This morning.
You know Philip Schofield? He's not a ghost, you know that, do you?
He just went grey very early, Philip.
Yeah, so they had a guest on, and she said she was happily engaged to her fiancé until they moved into a new house, and she started spending time in the spare bedroom alone, and she was communicated with by a spirit. And essentially, it rekindled my fear, because essentially she ended the story live on telly, saying that it had gone to a point now where she and the ghost were like...
Oh, no.
So, like...
Driving a clown car together?
Yeah.
Have you ever encountered a ghost?
No, but this is why it comes along, because I ain't ready to, like...
You've never seen a ghost?
No, I ain't ready for, like, staying in Norfolk in a weird B&B and, like, the spirit of Sheila's like, hello, darling. I ain't ready for that. I don't play
playing the supernatural games, brother. Have you tricked a friend into spending nights with you in a single bed by pretending you're scared of ghosts?
I mean, that's a whole different show, but, you know...
All right, who do you want to move on to?
Someone who's telling the truth.
Claudia.
Hello.
Remind us, Claude, of what it was.
OK, well, my local supermarket's gone 24 hours. I went there quite early in the morning, and his car was the only one in the car park, and it was an empty car park, and he was coming out with a trolley, and I managed to hit his car. I did say sorry a million times.
So he was parked, you were arriving.
But
why did you choose a place to park that was so near him?
Well, A, it sounds too weird.
I'm not telling the truth. What's B?
I just thought that's where you line up the cars. I thought when the other cars, I didn't want my car to be lonely. I don't know. I was panicked by choice. I wouldn't say it was hit. I think we agreed on that they kissed. We swapped information. I said I was so sorry. I was mortified.
And how did Lumbu react to this? Did he say, why did you park so close to me?
He was confused. I'm speaking for him, but he did come out going...
Well, that's far more animated than he's been for the last 5 minutes. I'm beginning to think he's a ghost.
Did he recognise you?
No, I've never been recognised.
Maybe on...
Never in my life. I don't think Strictly's on telly. Sometimes I sing the theme tune on the tube. Da, 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 da. Nobody looks up.
What supermarket was it?
Sainsbury's.
I'd have you down as Waitrose.
My local Waitrose does not have a car park. You can look that up.
I will.
OK.
What about David's story?
It's not really in the spirit of the game, but I'm happy to dismiss David's story immediately without any questioning whatsoever.
I can't remember. What was your story?
It was nonsense about a virtual reality headset.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It was
Come on, you should know by now.
I was walking through ancient Rome in Lumbu's virtual reality headset.
But do you mean it was his personally?
It belonged to the company he works for.
And what company does he work for?
He works for a company that does virtual reality headsets. His firm is launching a sort of virtual reality go round ancient Rome and other places in the past.
Right.
And they're interested in me providing an instructive and informative voiceover to the...
You tripped on what?
A footstool.
A footstool, and landed in a...
fireplace.
So you landed in your own fireplace? Sorry.
I landed the footstool and the fireplace, for clarity, existed in this realm. In this, the non-virtual reality.
Oh, I'm sorry, in your living room?
Exactly, yes.
So you fell into your own fireplace?
I did, yeah.
And how long had you walked before you tripped?
I'd been exploring ancient Rome for probably 2 or 3 minutes.
What, all in your living room?
Yeah, well, the thing is...
How big is your palace?
But you're not supposed to really walk. You're supposed to just sort of...
walk on the spot?
Mime walking.
So why did you change your mind?
I got carried away. I wanted to explore. I could see the Senate House. I wanted to feel Trajan's column.
Well, hang on. Let's imagine now that you had got the gig. Give us the sort of narrative that we might enjoy. I popped on my headset.
Right, OK.
OK, I'm impressed by what I'm seeing. Here I go, look. Here I go. I've got it on. I'm walking.
Don't walk, Rob, on the spot. He's warned you about this. On the spot.
OK.
Wow. I can't believe you get any acting jobs.
Now, I'm hearing nothing, so I'm not happy with it.
Well, you're asking me to improvise informative things about Rome, and I can't.
You're a historian.
Okay. No,
I've heard your
comedian.
jokes. Come on.
All right. The Rome's Forum was the first records of Rome's Forum.
You're not going to make slip-ups like that, are you?
What?
I'm expecting a far more professional outfit.
You get more than one take. How many times did it take you to say the thing about the crunchy nut cornflakes? This is Rome's Forum. The first records of Rome's Forum date from, I don't know, 400 BC.
Oh, I'm looking for accuracy with this, please.
That's the person that's writing the script.
He'd have a whole script. He'd be in a voiceover booth.
Hang on. Claudia Winkleman. This is absolute rubbish.
So why did you not end up doing the job?
I'm going to do the job.
Oh, you're doing it?
Yeah.
I don't think so after that. All right. We need an answer. Is Lumbu Guz's fearless friend with the ghosts, Claudia's dented driver in the car park, or David's virtual visitor?
It's a tricky one because we've got to decide whether Guz is happy to come on national television and admit such a strange thing, or whether Claudia is a terrible parker, or whether David will do any old rubbish for money. And I know which way I'm leaning. What do we think, Lucy?
Well, not the ghosts.
Not the ghost?
No.
We're ruling that out?
Yeah. They're all terribly unbelievable, but I think Claudia's might be the least unbelievable.
I don't believe that there's any fear of ghosts. I think it's Claudia. I think Claudia bumped into his car.
OK, let's go with Claudia.
You're going to say it's Claudia. OK. Lumbu, would you please reveal your true identity?
So I'm Lumbu. I sleep in the same room as Guz to protect my uncle.
Yes, Lumbu is Guz's fearless friend. Thank you very much, Lumbu.
I once had a holiday in a Frenchman's garage.
Can I check if this is a euphemism? Seriously, how old were you, roughly? I don't mean go. Oh, 17. 38? 30... Oh, this is quite recently.
Would it happened?
Yeah. So you're 38, right?
Yeah.
You're in France. Where was the garage?
France.
Whereabouts in France?
Northern France.
Whereabouts in northern France?
Brittany.
In Brittany. So you ended up in Brittany.
Southern Brittany.
Southern Brittany.
Okay.
And you
the northern end of southern Britain.
Oh, that's just south of mid-Brittany, isn't it?
Mid-Brittany.
Yeah. What's the name of the town that you're in?
The town where I stayed in the Frenchman's garage
was...
Van.
You're in the van in the garage?
No. The town...
Is this how this mix-up happened? I want a holiday in a van.
Rod, let me speak to you as another Welshman. Maybe he'll understand me.
Ask me a nice specific question.
Did you book a holiday in a Frenchman's garage?
No, I once had a holiday.
When you arrived in the village or town called Van...
Yeah, Van, yeah.
Did you already know you will be staying in a garage?
No.
Were all the hotels booked?
No. We thought it looked nice in the brochure.
Who did?
Me and my partner.
Partner?
Girlfriend.
Girlfriend?
Now wife.
Blimey, that was a quick 10 seconds.
OK. So you were going to Van.
We went to Van.
Right.
Went to a tourist information place to...
Because you hadn't booked anywhere.
We hadn't booked anywhere.
I'm with you.
Right. What happens at the tourist information place?
They said, what about this place? And we said, that looks nice.
Lovely.
The house with a nice
Good.
pool.
Lovely.
Looked nice in the picture.
Yeah.
So we went there.
So you got there. And when you got there...
It was a garage. The house was nice, but we were in the garage.
Was the garage decked out to look like a room, or was it just spanners and...
It looked like a room with a canoe on the side and a fuse box.
Am I old before my time? But
yes.
At 38, you don't go on a crazy, we're not going to book where we're going. At 38, you want to know where you're going. We've got a nice, comfy room. You know, if it is true, you totally deserve what happened to you.
I didn't say I didn't enjoy it.
So you liked the sort of... It was a deliberate rough
No, it was
and
a
tumble.
disaster.
How long did you stay for in the garage?
2 weeks.
You stayed for 2 weeks? How much did you pay?
It was very reasonable.
I'm surprised! Did it have any windows in the garage?
No.
And you said there was a swimming pool?
Yeah, they had a swimming pool.
You were allowed to use it?
No.
I can't help thinking that what you're describing is more of a hostage scenario. And what about Mrs. Gilbert? She wasn't Mrs. Gilbert then, but how did she react? Because she's looking at you, Rod, the tall, strapping, handsome Welshman, what everyone dreams of. You whisked her there. Was there not a little part of her that died that day when she saw what you expected her to
She
put up
wasn't
with?
very well, if I remember rightly.
Was it carbon monoxide or exhaust fumes? All right, Lee, it's a complex tale. What do your team think?
Absolute lie.
It's a lie?
Absolutely.
Really? Based on just the floundering?
Absolutely everything.
Like what? All right, it did have windows.
What are you thinking, Hal?
It's like he's throwing in things that seem so ridiculous. And
No, but nobody would go and stay in a garage without windows.
But I think
they
he's
wouldn't.
You're Kelly Hoppen, though, Kelly. He's Rod Gilbert. OK, what's it going to be, Lee? Truth or lie?
Lie.
Lie?
Lie.
Lie. I think it's true, but I'll go with my team and say it's a lie. You're
going to say lie. OK, Rod. Garage holiday in France. Truth or lie?
Garage holiday in the Frenchman's garage in Van. True.
Yes, it was all true. Rod did once have a holiday in a Frenchman's garage.
I used to write and hand in homework for an imaginary classmate.
So, you used to write, you used to do homework for an imaginary classmate and hand it in to the teacher?
Yeah.
For a pupil that he didn't have because they were imaginary?
That's right. It was a collective effort.
Who was the group of collectives?
It was the class.
Are they real friends, the class, or are they...?
Yeah, with names and everything. Real
Did he
people.
have a name? What was his name?
He must have had a name, but I can't remember what the name was. One of our class was quite enterprising. This teacher was new. He was a French teacher. He came in and he read the register, and one kid went, "Oh, sir, you've missed out," I don't know, call him Fisher for narrative purposes.
Yeah.
And so this guy wrote in an additional name in his register.
And then you kept the pretence of this boy up by doing his homework for him and handing it in?
Yeah.
And just out of interest, this teacher, when he handed the homework back, did he come up to you and go, "Give that to Fisher"?
Well, that would have been a problem.
Right.
But he wasn't a great teacher. He couldn't remember my name. I sat near the window, so he called me Windows.
Was he a French teacher, did you say?
Yeah.
He didn't call you Windows, then?
Well, he did. He didn't call me Fenetri, he called me Windows, because...
Often the very best French teachers speak English as well.
Yeah.
Who sit his exams for him, though? You couldn't sit his exam papers.
He was off sick quite a lot.
Oh, right. So at which point did you own up and say, "Look, sir, Fisher..."
We've killed Fisher. He was doing too well. We were so envious.
He never found out, and the school decided to let him go. And then the deputy headmaster, as I recall, came in and ticked us off and said that he wasn't prepared to tolerate fictional children at his school. I think that's what he said.
So, Lee, Mack, what are you thinking?
I can't believe it, because I just don't think kids would create that much work for themselves.
There's a lot of factors that have to be true here. There has to be. They all get together and agree to do it.
Yeah.
We have to believe the teacher never looks up during the register.
Yeah.
And that
Well,
no one
Fisher was off a lot. Fisher wasn't there every morning.
Fisher was never there, Andy.
Andy, can I ask, what's Fisher doing now?
The awful thing is, for a moment there, I tried to think. I actually...
Time to take a guess, Lee. What are you going to say?
Oh, well, trust me, this won't be a guess.
I think this is not true.
Not true?
If it is, I'm worried for Fisher's welfare.
No, Fisher doesn't exist.
I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight thinking about Fisher.
There is no Fisher.
Come on, Lee, what's it going to be? Truth or lie?
Lie.
Let's put Fisher quietly to rest and say it's a lie.
OK, it's a lie.
It's a lie. OK. Andy, is it true or is it a lie?
There is no Fisher, but it is true.
So what happened to Fisher, then?
Yes, it's true. Andy did write and hand in homework for an imaginary classmate. Now, remember, it's funny to have imaginary friends at school, but when you start signing on for them, it's fraud.
Possession.
OK, there's a box under your desk. Could you take the item out of the box, pop it on the desk, and then read the card.
This was my lucky mascot, Thumper. When I played for England, he had his own seat on the coach next to me and was always the last person I looked in the eye before leaving the dressing room.
Wow. Lee's team.
Can we get him?
Yes, let's see your sporting
Don't throw it forward. No. Do not throw it forward, otherwise that will be a foul.
You could pass it to me if you want. Team play?
Yes, of course. Catch it, please.
That's quite a thrill for me. Thank you.
Thumper.
What? Be careful with that.
Be careful.
Oh, Morgana.
Oh, Morgana, what are you doing?
All the places you could look.
Does it smell of?
Success.
Yes.
I would like. Imagine if this was. It would smell of like jock straps and sweat. And just mud and general.
Wow. Where did he come from, Hugo? Where did you acquire him?
Had him as a child.
As a child, so a gift from a kindly parent or relative.
Hang on. This belongs to Johnny Wilkinson. What's that? So, how long have you had him?
About 25 years.
OK, keep an eye on his face. Would that annoy you a bit?
Sorry?
I'm just checking out if that annoys you. He seems you're not that bothered, doesn't he? Look, I'm doing that.
So you said he sat next to you on the coach. How did that come about?
So I started playing rugby age 13 and I went to boarding school and he came along with me and he was a comfort to me at school.
Right.
Can I give him back now? I feel like...
No, no, you can't, because you're going to buzz him.
No, don't worry.
No, you don't.
I'll pretend it's...
No!
It's a conversion! It's a conversion!
No, you can't! No, you can't do that.
No!
You can't. You can't. No, you're clapping!
All right, so what do you think, Morgana?
I don't think the bunny smells right. It smells too clean. It smells like it's out of a kid's toy shop.
What do you think, Tom?
I think that you'd be terrified, be very scared of being bullied at the age of 13, going away to boarding school. The last thing you're going to do is attract attention to yourself by bringing out your thumping rabbit.
Lee?
I think I'm going to go with my team and say that is a lie.
OK. Hugo, were you telling us the truth or was it a lie?
Lie.
Whenever I need an energy boost, I'll stop doing what I'm doing and I hug a tree.
Right, Lee's team.
Right. When was the last time this happened, Gemma?
2 hours ago.
Didn't you arrive here about 2 hours ago?
I did.
Where in Elstree Studios did you find this tree?
Well, when I turned up, I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, meeting Rob, I'm his biggest fan. That's why I agreed to do the show. And that is the truth. You don't know how buzzing I am to be this close to him.
It's a lie.
So basically, I felt really nervous and I was like, oh, my God, I'm going to see him with my own 2 eyes, not just through the TV screen. I need to hug a tree and ground myself.
What tree was it?
My security guard took me over to Tesco's.
Stop. Your security guard?
Yeah.
Did you think there was a chance that maybe Rob would attack you today?
Yeah, I was hoping. I was absolutely hoping.
Can I just say, I'm genuinely confused and I'm not quite sure how to react.
So he took me to Tesco's. There was no trees in the car park, but they were selling cherry blossom trees.
Oh.
So I was like, do you know what? That'll have to do. So I hugged the cherry blossom to ground myself. And I did some breathing techniques, and I was like...
What are the breathing techniques? In and then out, and then in and then out?
No, it was like... Rob.
Before today, what was the last time it happened?
This morning.
And what was...
that's today. I love nature, so literally...
So do I.
I go outside in my garden naked most mornings.
You go out naked and hug a tree?
So, you're in Shaka Khan. You're in
a secure unit fancying Rob.
You're in the garden. You're in
Yes.
the garden and you're naked. Now, here's the question on all our lips, which is, what about the neighbours?
So, when I moved into the house, I was like, there's not enough trees. And I watched, I think it was David Attenborough, one of them, Spring Watch or something like that, where they said every time you plant a tree, you're putting air back into the oxygen.
True.
So I rung my local garden centre.
I think you've got that the other way round, but we'll...
Something like that. Oh, yeah.
That's all the right words, not necessarily in the right order.
Yeah. I went to my local garden centre and I bought, like, hundreds of trees to, like, block the neighbours' view.
So, Sally, what are you thinking?
Do you know, it's that bizarre, Gemma, that I'm sort of believing you.
The GC, you know, her kind of persona is, you know, Essex, glitz and glamour. But I do think you are quite at one with nature as well.
Yeah. So, what do we think?
I have no doubt she loves trees. The bit I doubt is that she loves you. It's a lie.
All right, so you're going to say it's a lie. OK, Gemma, was it true or was it a lie?
It's true!
So please welcome this week's special guest, Roy. So, Liz, what is Roy to you?
This is Roy. Roy used to play the lottery every week till I convinced him not to, and that week his numbers came up.
Annika, how do you know Roy?
This is Roy. I like to paint him naked in my kitchen.
And finally, Lee, what is your relationship with Roy?
This is Roy. I once spent the night in his petrol station wearing nothing but my wife's dressing gown.
David's team, where do you want to begin?
OK, well, Liz, that's quite an unlikely story. I mean, statistically, there is no point you can get a lottery ticket when you're not more likely to die before the numbers are drawn than for your numbers to come up.
You didn't get that ad campaign, did you, David?
No, and that's how unlikely it is. So his numbers came up the next week.
But what you've just said is essentially what I said to him.
Yeah.
I don't play the lottery. And so Roy works with me.
Yeah.
Works on Silent Witness.
Mm-hmm.
And...
in what capacity?
In the art department.
OK.
So we would talk. I was like, why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? You never know, never know. And then he approached his 40th, and I was like, break a habit.
So Roy's 40?
Yeah.
At least 40?
He looks young.
What would he have won?
He got 5 balls, numbers, whatever, and then the bonus one. I think that gets you £1 million.
£1 million?
Did you know what his numbers were before he stopped?
No.
So the week after he stopped, he told you, yeah, that last week, those were my numbers. Is that what happened?
He told me and he showed me.
He had a previous ticket from a previous week, and he showed you that and the numbers that had come up the first week he hadn't played the lottery. So he's quite angry. He's bringing in a lot of evidence. Here's my file entitled, You Have Ruined My Life.
And clearly, Roy still speaks to you after...
Well, I mean, obviously, we still work together because he didn't win.
Right, David, who would you like to question next?
OK, Annika, you like to paint him naked?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Roy, lovely, beautiful Roy, as I call him, is a life model. And so he comes round to my house sometimes and gets... Strips, and I paint him.
Would you be prepared to paint him fully clothed? Or is
I thought
that
you were going to say, would you be prepared to do me on a Wednesday? if I pay you...
What medium, Annika? Are you in charcoal,
I work
oils?
in oils. I do
You're
like...
an oil.
I'm an oil person with Roy quite a lot.
What, he covers himself in oil and then you paint it?
No, it's an oil paint.
Oil paint.
Oh, I was about to say, big man, what are you dealing with, man? How long have you been painting?
About 10 years, properly. And Roy is one of the regular models.
Do you pay Roy?
Yes, you pay him.
So
He's a
what
professional
happens? You
model.
make an appointment with him.
I make an appointment.
Ding dong.
He comes in...
Is that his nickname?
Oh, no, you're at home. You've got your equipment out. Ding dong. And then now he doesn't arrive naked, does he?
No,
what happens?
No, he...
Oh, go on, you can work it out, Rob.
So I've got a studio next to the kitchen if I'm doing big oil painting in the studio.
Oh.
But then we go into the kitchen and I'll carry on sketching and things. And because he's been painting
he's still
naked,
nude
he's
at this
still
point.
naked. Because
Yeah.
I know him so well, he doesn't bother to put a pant on or anything like that.
Not a single solitary pant.
How many variations of a naked man can you do? Not that you're telling the truth, because I am.
What you don't know about Roy is he does the most extraordinary dynamic poses. So
Oh, a different
it's
pose every week.
endless. Oh, it's endless. Can you show it?
I'd love to see. I'd love
Please
to
show us, yes.
Well,
I'm sorry, you're trying to make it all tasteful. All we're thinking of is the bloke turning
No,
around.
he-
Is it with the fruit bowl again, Annika?
He can do the most
I'm not holding those grapes again. 3 hours that took last time. Especially with my hands on my head. I can't hold my grapes for those.
Why don't you position Lee
Yes,
into
how would
some
you
of the poses that you enjoy with Roy? And take your time over this, Annika. So one last thing. Lee, please don't take your clothes off.
Okay.
So after a cup of tea, you are going to take your clothes off, and I'll hold the tea.
Yeah.
So what sort of poses do you normally do?
I'm still taking
Lee?
my clothes off. I've got the pants on. I'm leaving them on for a second.
Yeah.
Thought I'm doing this one. This is it.
OK.
I've got the T-shirt off yet.
I'll just mix my paint.
Right, now I'm down to my pants.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So, are you going to... Could you...
Well, look the other
remove
way.
your pants?
Look away?
Yeah.
Why do you want to look away?
Because I'm not working yet. It's when I say go.
OK.
I can't do it if you're going to look at me. Can you look the other way? Roy, get round here as quick as you can.
Annika, you haven't put the heater on.
Are you comfortable?
I'm not comfortable, no.
No.
The lady came round for an autograph.
Should we see what sort of position?
Hang on, let me see the cash first. You have to count it. I'm doing trying to put it in there, but I've got nothing on. Is that going in the folds of my skin? What do you want me to do? What position?
Get on your knees.
On my knees?
This is looking like a hostage situation.
Now what do I do? Yeah?
Do you want to perhaps...
Yeah. Oh!
Pretend... Yeah.
Hang on. Is someone going to fire a gun? I have to...
That's the sort of thing.
Position that Roy
Well,
does.
thank you, Lee. Put your clothes back on. All right. What about Lee?
So what is the...
I've forgotten myself. This is Roy. I once spent the night in his petrol station wearing nothing but my wife's dressing gown.
Why are you in the petrol station overnight?
Because I got locked out of my house.
How did you get locked out of your house?
Well, I went out of the house, didn't have my keys. I mean, how'd you do it?
Why were you only wearing your wife's dressing gown when you left the house?
I was at home, alone. My wife was away. It was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I suddenly woke up in a cold sweat because I hadn't put the bins out. And I panicked, and I suddenly got up out of bed, and I like to wear just my pants in bed. Let me Tell me if it gets too arousing. So I grab what I think is my dressing gown from the back of the bedroom door, and I realise straight away that it's my wife's. I think I'm only taking the bins. It's only like a quick second job in it. So I go downstairs because that's where the front door is.
Yes.
And we used to have it on the middle floor, but many injuries. And so I went out the front door, and I just did that with my hand. Oh, turn round, slam.
So why don't you go like next door or something?
It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I live in a castle.
Now you walk barefoot.
Well, no, human feet.
To the garage.
I walk to the garage.
And what do you find there?
I find Roy, and he was reading a paper. There's not much business at 2 o'clock in the morning, you know. And I remember he went... Very hairy feet, sir. I said, I've locked myself out. Is there any chance I could borrow your phone? So I could phone my wife.
Where was she?
She was at a relative's house.
In a safe house.
Did you know Roy previously?
Well, I'd been in the petrol station a few times, but he won't recognise it because I was always wearing a balaclava. Anyway, I borrow his phone.
Yeah.
I dial straight to answering machine.
So what
And the answering machine just said, hi, not here at the moment. If this is Lee, I still don't want to see you. So I said to Roy, God, now what? We had a little coffee and then started having a chat, and he was really nice. He said, you're my favourite on the show, and... I said, oh,
it's a lie.
And then when punters came in and just saw you, did they just...
Occasionally, because it's 24/7, you know. It's a bit awkward.
Well, I can blame
we
them,
had a laugh with the first few customers. By the fifth one, we thought it'd be funny if we didn't tell them and I just held his hand.
And then she came back in the morning.
She came back in the morning, and I said,
everything back to normal.
I'm sorry, but I'm in love with Roy.
All right, we need an answer. So, David's team, is Roy Liz's lottery loser, Annika's kitchen companion, or Lee's forecourt friend?
It's absolutely not Lee's, much as we've enjoyed your contribution.
The thing I don't believe about Liz is that it says he's 40. Now, I know black don't crack, but he is not 40.
I'm leaning towards Annika's suddenly.
All right, what are you going to say?
I think Annika?
Yes.
Annika?
I think Annika.
OK. You're going to go Annika?
Right, they're saying Annika. Roy, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Roy, and Annika paints me naked in her kitchen.
Yes, Roy is Annika's kitchen companion. Thank you very much, Roy.
I once sent out 30 professional photographs of myself to try and get an agent. I got just one reply advising me to destroy all copies of the photographs.
David, what pose exactly were you doing in the glossy print?
I mean, I thought a normal, dignified, at the same time hilarious and talented one.
Show me.
Yeah, can you do it?
No, I think what it was...
Do it.
I think maybe in the picture, my mouth looked a bit wrong. You know, maybe it was a bit sort of...
Can I ask why you thought...
Or maybe...
But you didn't bother to change
it wasn't like...
And when was this? What period are we talking about?
It was in the 18th century. In the mid-late 1990s.
What kind of places were you sending them to?
Or did you just leave them in phone boxes around London?
How were you dressed in the photograph? Was it a casual or was it a smarter look that you went for?
I'm guessing smarter.
It's just in case he was wearing a leisure suit. Maybe it was the late 90s. You
What's
know,
a leisure suit? That sort of zip-up thing that you can relieve yourself in.
Yes.
It's what they'll be wearing in the future. It's just so convenient. Just get in and whatever happens, it's fine.
Did this dent your confidence, David?
Yes.
You didn't think I'll just get some more done, but this time without the stovepipe hat and the cravat?
I don't think I immediately got some more done. I mean, I have subsequently had other photos.
You got your
taken.
confidence back?
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Do you think that could be the truth?
I think it's true.
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
I think it's true.
True.
I think it's true. David, truth or lie?
It is true.
Oh, true. It's true. David did once send out 30 professional photographs, but was advised by an agent to destroy all copies. So please welcome this week's special guest, Francis. So, Sue, what is Francis to you?
Well, this is Francis, and together we hid a body in a coffin to spook the cast of Brookside.
Jay, how do you know Francis?
So this is Francis, and we got a speeding ticket together whilst test driving a motorised sofa.
And finally, David, what's your relationship with Francis?
This is Francis, and he told me to tone it down a bit when I got a tad too bouncy on his bouncy castle.
Lee's team, where do you want to start?
I think we'll start with Sue, shall we?
cadaver, yeah.
First of all, what is Francis's role on Brookside?
Francis was the first AD.
That was his year of birth.
It stands for Assistant Director.
OK, so was it part of the story, the coffin?
Yes,
right.
It was the death of a very loved character had
Which
occurred
character?
before, called Damien Grant.
Your fictional son?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bringing back memories. Remember Damien dying in Brookside?
Damien, yeah.
Yeah.
Simon is
Simon, who...
Simon O'Brien.
What did you put in the coffin, Sue? A body or something?
We put Simon in.
Well, hang on, wasn't Simon...
Dead.
No, I know that. But was Simon supposed to be in the episode playing himself as a dead body?
No.
So you would never have seen what was in the coffin in the story?
Yeah.
But you decided to ring up Simon and say, you know you're upset because you've been written out of the show. Is there any chance you could come in unpaid one more time?
Yeah, I thought that would be a great idea.
And so he wasn't meant to be in work that day?
No, he'd finished. He'd been stabbed.
He wasn't meant to be in work ever again.
So I went to Francis and said, what do you think about hiding Simon in the coffin and, you know, freaking everybody out?
But how did you freak people? Because the coffin had the lid on.
Because he could jump out.
He could or he did?
He did.
And who did he scare?
Well, he scared most people, but in particular the priest.
So, Sue, when he decided to do the reveal of jumping out,
well, he couldn't stay in there very long, but we knew he had to come out.
That bloke under the patio was there for about 6 series.
True. So we had a quick rehearsal, and then we go for a take, and during the take, the coffin begins to shake, and this eerie noise comes out of it, and it bursts open, and Simon sits up.
What does he say?
Hi.
Did he not think to use the traditional boo?
It probably doesn't make much difference, does it?
No,
If
the thing was
apparently
the
dead
action.
bodies jumping out of a coffin, people aren't going, what's he going to say?
What did the priest say?
That's when I thought we'd gone too far, because the priest
'Cause he
went
had a heart
green
attack and
and we
died.
went...
Yeah. At least there was a coffin on hand.
Now, what about Jay?
Jay, remind us,
Jay.
Well, this is Francis, and basically we got a speeding ticket for driving a motorised sofa.
Right,
down the
why
road.
was this sofa motorised? Was it one of your renovations?
No, the sofa was one of my renovations, but the motor underneath it belonged to Francis.
What was he going to do with it then? I mean...
Basically, takes a man to, like, car enthusiast shows and just drives them around.
So hang on, what speed were you going?
We was doing about 20... I think it was about 23 miles an hour. It was a 20-mile zone.
And you got into trouble for it?
Yeah, Francis got a ticket. I didn't get...
What do you mean a ticket?
It was the old bill, the police caught us.
Oh, the police actually stopped you?
So it's got
Yeah.
a registration on it?
It's got a registration on the front and the back of the sofa.
Right.
On the arms.
No, not on the arms. No, on the back.
You know the arms are famously at the side, not the front and back. What's the mechanisms for driving this thing?
You've got a flat bit for your feet,
Yeah.
where the pedals are, and then the steering wheel kind of was on a shaft which controlled what was underneath the sofa. And I had to do something in the arm where it could open up, and then you have the wing mirror in the back that you could see.
Sorry, is this a James Bond film? You're telling me the wing mirrors open, come up like that?
You lift up the arm, and then you pull up the wing mirror.
Why
and
don't
then
you just have them as permanent fixtures?
Because you want it to be a sofa sometimes.
What, you drive it into your lounge when you want to see it?
And can you talk us through the bit where the police pull you over? What was it? Was he on a moped or something, motorbike?
Oh, he was in the kitchen cabinet.
It was just there. They was just there. The police do just turn up sometimes.
Could I see Kevin's hands?
Whose hands?
Whose hands?
Who's Kevin?
It's Francis.
Could I see the gentleman's hands?
Francis, would you hold your hands up in front of you, please? There they are.
Are they the hands of a mechanic?
Green suede shoes
They look
and
very
hands
soft,
like that.
don't they? Look very tender.
They do look...
Thank you, Francis. Now then, what about David's story, the bouncy castle?
Yes, when were you on a bouncy castle?
Last summer, actually.
What was the occasion that had a bouncy castle?
It wasn't an occasion, it was a place.
Where was the place?
Inflatable World. No, it was Blenheim Palace. They have a sort of children's bit.
Yeah.
And one of the entertainments there is a bouncy castle.
Well, it's a bit awkward, this, because it's happened before to you, David. Were you on your own?
No.
Finally, you've remembered to bring your child with you to one of these things.
Yes, yeah.
OK, so you're with your daughter and your wife?
Yes.
And was it your real wife or your inflatable wife?
It's my real wife.
And you're bouncing on the castle.
I didn't initially get on the bouncy castle. I was encouraged on by my daughter.
Right. And how much was it to go on the bouncy castle?
I can't remember.
Have a guess.
I think... OK.
See if you're in touch with the real people out there.
I think it was £7,000.
What about the castle itself? Because I know you're a great fan of castles. You're a historian. How did the structure
Well, I would say it was historically laughable. There was no recognisable keep and curtain wall situation.
And how did this make you feel? Angry, I'm imagining.
No, I think you're massively overestimating the extent to which I expected it to be historically accurate. I've seen them before. I know... in many ways, I don't think it's particularly their aim to say, yes, this is precisely the kind of military architecture that made Edward I such a successful king. I don't think that was even in the minds of the people who designed it, and I'm fine with that.
So you went a bit too far. So did you start off by bouncing normally and then you just got carried away?
I got on the edge. She was sort of towards the back corner, and I moved towards her.
In a bouncing fashion?
Well, it turned out...
You didn't think to just walk over there and start bouncing, because you thought, I'm a stickler for the rules, I better bounce because it's a bouncing castle.
I would say that in trying to walk over there, I developed a more than usually bouncy gait.
What happens then?
Holding hands a bit.
With your daughter?
Yeah, and then bouncing.
Were you
then we sort of bounced away from each other.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Did you have an argument? Did you bounce away from each other, or did she bounce away from you? And you started going, well, of course, this is historically inaccurate, isn't it? Bounce away from him! Bounce away from him!
Try and fit a portcullis to this, I said.
Words that you don't want to hear from a fully grown man on a bouncy castle. Would you be willing to give us a demonstration of what you considered normal bouncing and then how it got a little bit out of hand?
No, I would not.
Just the vertical bouncing. There were no star jumps, there were no somersaults, no knee jumps. You know, on a trampoline, you jump and you do a knee, and then on
maybe
knee,
that.
bum, knee, bum, knee, bum, stand.
Hang on, is that an ambulance?
I didn't do knee bum stand. I might have done knee stand.
Really? I don't see you doing that.
You weren't there. Certainly
That
didn't.
makes two of you.
I certainly didn't.
Right, we need an answer. So, Lee's team. Is Francis Sue's pranking pal, Jay's sofa speeder, or David's castle custodian?
I mean, I've rejected Francis as a mechanic because of his hands.
Right. If he's got soft hands, he could work in television because they've never done an honest day's work in their life.
There was good detail with Jay's. Actually, I don't know if it was quality detail, but there was a lot of it.
Do you think you
He was full of it, I'll give you that.
I don't think you can get registration plates.
Oh, you
for a
definitely
sofa.
do. You absolutely do.
But you can get
Not
them
for a sofa. No, not. Don't be thinking you've got to go home, Bob, and go, all right, love, Lee Mack told me that. We've got to get number plates for the sofa. No, only if it's turned into a vehicle do you need to get... You don't have to get headlights for a sofa.
DVLA wouldn't
Rear view mirror.
issue them.
Yeah, but there's...
Say, well, apply to DFS, not us. So are you going for bouncy castle?
I think David would be reluctant to get on a bouncy castle.
I don't dispute.
I don't think he's kicking
I
off
think
his...
David would be reluctant to just go out of the house.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Bob. I think it might be Sue.
You think it's going to be Sue?
Yeah.
Sue!
OK.
We're going with Sue. We're not changing our mind.
You're saying it's Sue, yes?
Definitely Sue.
OK, so, Francis, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Francis, and together Sue and I hid the body in the coffin on Brookside.
Yes, Francis is Sue's pranking pal. Thank you very much, Francis. So please welcome this week's special guest, Matt. So, Joe, what is Matt to you?
This is Matt. After I made his life hell on the Strictly tour, he took revenge by gelling my hair with Marmite.
Steph, how do you know Matt?
This is Matt. Together, we once threw some knickers at Jennifer Saunders.
Lee, what is your relationship with Matt?
This is Matt, and when he broke both his arms, I used to pop round his house and scratch his itches with a knitting needle.
So there we have it. David's team, where do you start?
OK, Joe, what was Matt's role on the Strictly tour?
The Strictly tour is where the people who've been on the show go around the country and you have competitions.
Yes, it's like a little mini competition within itself, and he was one of the hair and makeup guys. So they'd arrive before we did and set everything up on the makeup table. Yeah. So I would get there before he did, hide underneath and wait for ages. He'd come along, set stuff up, and I'd grab him by the ankles and film it. Obviously.
Oh, and film it.
Film it.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah. I do it quite a lot. Behind curtains, behind, like, stages, everything. I just try and get a montage of making Matt jump.
Oh, so started off with ankles under the table and then it escalated into full assault.
Massive. So he had enough towards the end, and we did this one number where I had to have a mohawk for our dance. And then on the last show, he got an empty wax pot and put a whole tub of Marmite in there and used that on my mohawk.
You could smell it? No.
So I couldn't at the time because there's so many other different products and stuff around.
And did half the audience absolutely love it?
Did it work?
It held it, yeah. Because I didn't notice until we got out there, and then we could both smell it because we left the backstage bit.
Oh, it's horrible. Imagine picking up your partner and getting that yeasty smell.
After you'd done the dance, so you then realised it was him. What happened then? Did you confront him? Did you see him?
We just had a moment of, like, well done, you got me. But then, obviously, he doesn't want to lose his job, so he had to rinse it out afterwards.
Well, you can get sacked for japes, can you?
What's japes?
Japes.
What's japes?
Japes, you know, practical jokes.
Oh, yeah, well, I think so, yeah.
Well, you're grabbing his ankles. How come you didn't get sacked?
Because I was...
A star.
You're the star. All right, who would you like to go to next?
So, Steph, this knicker throwing.
Yeah, Matt and I threw knickers at Jennifer Saunders.
Jennifer, right.
Where?
They were nuns and they were trying to get you out of the garden.
Liverpool.
Empire?
Yeah.
Never give them options.
What was the show? What was the show called?
French and Saunders.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds good. I'd like that. I've not heard of it.
I have to ask, why were you throwing pants?
Because Matt and I are big fans of French and Saunders, and we thought that would be a creative way to get your attention and tell you that we think you're brilliant.
Did it get your attention?
No, I don't remember that at all.
Right.
But the windmill got your attention.
Pardon?
The windmill.
What windmill?
What's that?
So we decided, as a backup, we'd also make windmills with your face on. So we made one of Don French and one of you.
Can I just check, is this going to end in a restraining order?
What sort of windmills?
You know those things you put in your garden or you get on the beach or whatever?
So not a windmill?
No, not
one
like
of those little
throw a whole
things.
windmill at somebody.
I think we understood that it wouldn't grind grain.
Into the show, we threw the knickers, and then when we realised that hadn't worked, then we went backstage and waited for you. That's the stage door.
When you say worked, what were you expecting to happen?
Just like to, I don't know, just to...
Be invited backstage. Who threw those knickers? Would you like to go out for a drink?
Yeah, but I was a teenager, you know. There wasn't social media and things back then, so we couldn't tweet you and say anything, or...
This is what it was like before the internet. When before vlogging or Twitter, you had to write a message on a windmill and throw it at someone. Life was so simple.
That's what Grindr used to be.
We weren't trying to chat them up, we were just trying to show our, you know, appreciation.
So the windmills had their faces on, and the idea with the windmills is that you'd hand them over.
Yeah, and just go, we love you.
Here's a windmill with your face on it.
The international language of love.
Charming.
Yeah.
That is charming.
Here's a windmill, not
Yeah.
here's a windmill, now can I have a selfie?
I think
that's
it's better.
quite
It's
nice.
better than the pants.
It is quite nice, Jennifer, but if it's true, the sad ending to this, that all this effort she made and you have no recollection of it whatsoever.
How do you know Matt?
We grew up together.
How would he say the word poor?
Actually, he's turned a bit posh now, so...
Okay.
So he wouldn't say it at all.
Yeah.
So, Lee...
Can you remind us, Lee?
Yeah, this is Matt, and I used to pop round to his house when he broke both his arms so I could itch him with knitting needles.
Yep. Now, on what basis should we believe that?
Because if it's not true, there's a chance she's been throwing windmills at people.
How do you know Matt?
Who's Matt? Oh, this fella?
Yeah.
Oh. I do a show called Would I Lie to You? And a few seconds ago, he just walked on stage. And since then, we've become really good friends. I know Matt because... I was going to say we went to school together. I've changed my mind. I used to take him to school. And I'd drop him off because he's my son. That'll do. He's my son. I know Matt. I don't actually know Matt very well. I play five-a-side football with the local dads, and he plays sometimes. He's one of the sons of one of the fathers. And so I know him a little bit, just to say hello. Yeah. So I say, hello, Matt. And he never waves, but we know why I know. And I felt a bit responsible, if I'm going to be honest, about the breaking of the arms. And so I felt the least I could do is pop round and see how he is. And so...
Why did you feel responsible?
Well, I broke his arms. And I think that was it.
How did you break them?
I was reversing in my car. And he was up a ladder.
Okay.
And he was putting me off, so I thought, I'll have him. Just nudged the ladder gently. And so I didn't really break his arms, gravity did.
Where was this ladder, Lee?
It was from the ground up to where he was painting a window ledge.
So what chain of events led to you going into his home and scratching his itch?
A few days later, after the incident, I was playing football with his dad, And I felt bad, and, you know, I even said, does he want to play? He doesn't have to go in goal. And, and he said, no, he can't play. He's in agony. And so I said, I'll pop round and see how he's getting on. And so I knocked on the door. And he answered the door, and that was awkward.
How did he answer the door?
It's not dignified seeing a man opening the door with his teeth. Especially with a glass window. He was all squat, all his nose. So, I said to him, is there anything I can do? He says, I've got a terrible itch. And I said, well, it must be horrible under that plaster. He went, oh, no, bad news, that's not where the itch is.
So you got the knitting needles?
Got the knitting needles, one up the arm, and I did everywhere. I gave him the full scratching treatment.
And how many times did you return to the house to scratch him?
How many times? I would say in total 12. It wasn't just to, obviously, you know...
On 12 occasions,
yeah,
you returned to the house?
a few times, because he couldn't go to the toilet either.
So you were essentially a full-time carer?
No. His dad would help out sometimes.
Right, OK.
But I felt responsible, and it was...
You were responsible?
I felt responsible.
How is Matt now? Is he fully recovered?
Well, he hasn't moved his arms, I've noticed.
All right, we need an answer. So, David's team, is Matt Joe's pranking pal, Steph's lingerie launcher, or Lee's plastered patient?
I think it's Lee.
I was there, and even I don't believe it.
Let's put Lee aside for now.
Oh, wouldn't that be lovely?
I don't think Marmite would hold. I think it's sloppier than that.
You would smell it straight away as well, wouldn't you?
And it is a risky thing for someone to do to a star, isn't it? I think it's Steph.
Being a Steph.
It'd be great to go for Steph, because if it's true, it's lovely.
It'd be great,
and if it's false, it's brilliant that you think it's her.
Yes.
So you're going to go for Steph?
We think it's Steph, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Matt, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Matt, and together, Steph and I, through knickers, with Jennifer Saunders.
Yes, Matt is Steph's lingerie launcher. Thank you very much, Matt.
The night before the bin men come, I go to bed wearing earmuffs. That way, I'm spared their irritating early morning clank of trash.
What day do the bin men come?
Thursday morning.
I think it's instantly believable because we know him to be grumpy and, you know, intolerant and easily disturbed.
Oh, hang on, can I have a go with the list?
Why earmuffs and not just little in-ear thingies, you know?
I don't like things
in your ears.
in there. I don't like to be, you know, penetrated.
What do your earmuffs look like, David?
They're grey.
Do they have, like, a nice plastic strap along the top?
No, they're two single, separate muffs.
Oh, I see. You put them on your ears, then put a Hoover on your mouth.
Yeah.
Precisely. And then you have to block all the holes quickly.
No, they have got a linking plasticity.
Are your muffs fluffy?
Yeah, they have a... I would... You know, there's... Yeah. I mean, yes, they're fluffy.
What do you sleep in apart from the earmuffs?
Nothing at all.
So you're naked?
Pyjamas.
So sometimes your relatively new wife wakes up on a Thursday morning with your matching pyjamas and earmuffs.
No. The earmuffs don't match the pyjamas.
No, I know that, but...
Yeah. Does she secretly quite like you in the earmuffs? I mean, like, does she say you look very sweet?
Well, it's not become a problem in our relationship.
I would have ended the sentence as, does she secretly quite like you? Because I get phone calls often from her going, I don't know how this can carry on. The earmuffs, the matching pyjamas...
Now, when do the muffs go on? Because we get into bed at night, don't we? But we have several things to accomplish before we go to sleep.
Yeah.
Be it a quick look at an iPad or tablet, be it browsing a book, or be it celebrating a very special aspect of the marriage. That's broadcastable.
What, the actual
your
event?
proudest boast.
So would you wait for the muffs to go on until all other business has been attended to?
All other business has been attended to, be it a crossword or something even less broadcastable, has all happened before the muffs go on. The only thing I have not done, and I'm very particular about this, before I put the earmuffs on, is go to sleep. I find it very difficult to put them on whilst unconscious.
But what if you've had a particularly exerting crossword, OK? The two of you have been going at this crossword for half an hour, 40 minutes, relentlessly. You finally finish the crossword. Let's say 14 down has been particularly tricky, and you fall back when, oh, my God, that was fantastic. Where are me muffs?
Well, I don't know if it's just a thing in our relationship, but crosswords don't take us that long.
What are you thinking, Lee and Lee's team?
What do we think?
I think that it is not true.
OK.
Don't you have to wake up to pee sometimes? That's when I'd throw them on, you know, all night. I don't know.
I don't always wake up to pee.
I wish
So, you're saying it's... What do we think?
Essentially, I think it's a well-told lie.
You think it's a lie? OK, we'll say it's a lie.
You're saying lie. OK, David, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. David doesn't wear earmuffs the night before the bin men come.